Welcome back, and today we're going to be reviewing the brand new Griffin Co. X Limited. I've been wanting to do this one for quite some time now. I picked this up at this past Blade show, and when it comes to Griffin Co., I love Keith. He's such a nice guy. I got to meet his wife. She's super nice as well, and that's been one of my highlights the last 2 years that they've been coming. And this time he actually had a booth. So it was really awesome to see him with a booth, and it was awesome to hear other people talking about Griffin Co. because I think y'all know I've been a huge fan from day one. The X Limited drops today, August 7th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So my videos usually go up at 6 p.m. Central Time anyways, so it should be live. If you're interested in picking one of these up, I will have it linked down below in the description. Keith always offers a ton of different options. You got 3 different micartas, the natural, like I have, olive micarta or black micarta. Then he also offers just putting it over so you can get a look at it, and this is how it's set up underneath there. This burgundy, it's like a cross-cut carbon fiber there. It looks pretty interesting, especially on the sides. See how it has the stripes on that side? And the way Bestech did this, really, really cool. So, because you have the bolster, and as you can see, it's a 2-part system, but this goes underneath there, and it screws from underneath. This screw is screwed from underneath there. I'll show you all that later when we look at the inside. You can also get it in marbled carbon fiber scales and stone wash brass. Then your blade finishes, you can get the hand rub satin finish like I have. You can get a vertical belt satin finish. You can get a stone wash finish, a black wash finish, or a PVD coated finish. He pretty much covers all his bases on his finishes and scale options. Well, we reviewed the Griffin Co. X Series EDC fixed blade. I think it was last year. If you didn't watch my review of this, go check it out. I absolutely love this one. It was probably one of my most carried EDC fixed blades for quite some time for many reasons. And I love the size of this one. So when he told me he was doing a little bit smaller version, I wasn't sure if I was going to need that, but boy, was I wrong. The X Limited comes in at 6.5 inches overall with a 2.79 inch drop point blade of CPM Magna-Cut steel. This one will be legal in a lot of areas, especially in places with 3 and under blade laws. And like I said, mine has this beautiful hand rub satin finish on it. It doesn't scratch up easy. You have a fuller on both sides of the blade there. You have a very versatile blade shape here because of that lower tip. So you can have a very gradual belly up to that tip. You have a nice needle-like tip, and being that it's a low tip, that versatility, you can easily make those fine precision cuts doing drag cuts or pierce through a bag of potato chips. You do have some functional grippy jimping there that grips my finger perfectly. And we have a small little sharpening notch. I do wish the plunge grind would have been brought all the way back, but when it comes to my fixed blades, I'm not worried about that. I can easily open that up if needed, being that I don't have stop pins to worry about in the closed position. Depending on how much pressure you put back there, you should be able to get a couple of sharpenings before you'll run into that thicker plunge grind. That plunge grind comes down right here. So I should have all that sharpening life. You have the Griffin Co. logo here, and on this side, you have the blade steel designation Magna-Cut. Your blade stock thickness is coming in at 0.12. Unlike the X Series EDC fixed blade that had a deep hollow grind on it. And I know some of y'all do not like hollow grinds. Well, he got you covered here. This one has a full flat ground blade, comes down nice and thin to around 13 thousandths behind the edge. So this one should be a versatile and slicey blade. Let's find out. Well, this knife came very sharp out of box, but I want y'all to know that I got this knife back in June at Blade Show from Griffin Co. Keith sent it home with me, so we didn't have to do any kind of shipping. Save a little bit of money both ways. So it's been a while, and I'll be honest, I used it several times. But I did give it a good little strop in before I started doing the testing. And even with all the cutting I did before, it's still slicing very, very well. One thing I love about a hand rub satin is that it gets rid of any kind of friction you might have from coating or any other kind of blade finish. Even better than the vertical satin. You kind of feel that a little bit. The ergos are comfortable. You got a nice little flat spot so you can choke all the way up, so I can control that edge a lot better. And it was nice and comfortable. I will say, doing this for a long period of time, it's going to start to fatigue your wrist and forearms just because it's a thinner scales. It's a general EDC task knife. You can definitely get a feather stick done, get a lot of force into whatever you're cutting. You'll be fine. It'll be comfortable. It just will wear you out a little bit faster. So nothing wrong with that. If you want something to do that for a long period of time, then get a big bushcraft knife. Now we move to the half-inch sisal rope. And being that you have that low tip, this is going to be one of the most versatile blades. So I can easily get that belly onto the flat cutting surface. I can do a sawing motion cut, push cuts, pinch grip. You'll see me kind of go to the index finger grip a couple times. And I think this is the only spot that this one, I'm not going to say struggle, but it would have been a lot better if I would have done this portion of the testing when I first got it. So, I apologize for that. That's on me. But yeah, so far, enjoying it. It's been a great little user. And being that this one's a flat grind, I was worried that it wasn't going to be as slicey as the hollow ground X Series EDC fixed blade. But just as good, because Best Tech did a good job of thinning this one out. I think it's like 13 thousandths behind the edge. Very, very nice. And of course, after I'm done with all this testing, I'm going to put my own edge on anyway. And just like my X Series EDC fixed blade, man, that thing, after I put my own edge on it, dropped it to, I think, a 17 degrees per side edge bevel. That thing is an absolute laser beam. The MagnaCut has been holding up well. This is, I think, my fourth Griffin fixed blade MagnaCut now. And see how I can easily use that tip to make that drag cut. So if you need to make those fine, precise, precision cuts, this one's really going to shine because you got a nice needle-like tip there. No drag in any of the dense materials, the tubing, no problem. You can see me doing that pointer finger grip a lot too because it's still nice and sharp, even though it's been used quite a bit. I was trying to do a smaller section of the denim, but I rolled it up a lot thicker, and it's not, no matter how sharp it is, you're not going to be able to get through in one easy slice, but I think it did fantastic. Well, after I got done with the testing, I did some side-by-side cutting with the hollow ground X Series EDC fixed blade with this one, and the only difference with the hollow ground version is that one has a fresh edge on it, but they both feel very similar in their cutting. This one has a full flat. Now, even though it's going to get thicker quicker than the hollow grind, it's already nice and thin, so unless you reprofile it majorly, it's going to stay thin for quite some time. I thought it performed well, and in the ergo department, you have a fairly neutral handle. If I want to choke back right here behind that flat spot, my medium-sized hands, I can get a 4-finger grip on it, but anytime I'm doing in-hand cuts, I like to creep up right there, and I have enough separation from that edge. I can control it a lot better, guiding it through whatever I'm cutting, and that way, you're closer, you're not farther away to where I can maybe get hung up right here or something. Not as common without, a lot of separation from the edge to the choil, but that little bit of jimping definitely helps out some, so you don't accidentally slide forward. I'm not worried about it at all, but, if you needed to, you could definitely come back. Pinch grip, very good, especially right here. I can guide that tip. I can either control how far I go down into something or just stabilize that tip a lot better, pulling through something as well. The pull grip, nice and comfortable, and the reverse grip, even though I probably would never do it with this knife just because I don't have a need to do this, it's nice and comfortable, and I can rest my finger on top of that, my lanyard right there, nice and comfortable. Did talk about it during the testing. The only thing that you may notice is if you're doing a lot of hard cutting for a longer period, the thinner scales will just make your wrist and forearms fatigue a little bit quicker, just because you're holding it tighter to keep it from spinning in the hand. But this is a general task EDC knife. You know, make a cut, break down some boxes, cut a piece of rope, twine, open up a package. That's what this one's gonna be great at. Even though you can make some feather sticks with it, this isn't gonna be your go-to bushcraft knife per se, but that's okay. Not a role I'll ever be putting it into anyway. When it comes to carry options, the knife comes with this beautiful minimalist taco style kydex sheath. That's how it's done right there. Tons of lashing points. And it comes with this rotatable belt loop attachment. When it comes to setups that are already ready to go, this is one of those. I like this. You know, if I didn't have a certain type of carry that I like to go with, then this is good. I got a nice little push off ramp there, nice and comfortable. Nice positive click. No rattle. I checked before I put my bead on. This bead right here comes from Combat Beads. They make some beautiful beads. Also comes with this larger ball chain, and this is a lot bigger than we usually see those little bitty thin cheapo ones. But if you want to net carry this, definitely an option because this thing's nice and lightweight. And of course, like my other Griffin fixed blades, I've been carrying mine in this Bad Stitch Goods leather sheath. He offers these on his site. This is my favorite means to carry right here. It's even more minimal, just by a little bit, than your kydex. It comes with the pocket clip attachment. He started using thicker leather so it would have a little bit more rigidity. And the cool thing about the one that the X Limited goes with, if you already own the X Series EDC fixed blade, it also works in this one, and he did that on purpose. All right, when it comes to carry, if you want to use the sheath that comes with it on your belt, go vertical carry, and it's like a drop down. As you can see, it comes below the belt, which is nice. Whenever you're sitting down, you're not gonna feel it. It keeps it away from the body, so it's not rubbing up against the side of you. And the cool thing about this sheath is how quick it is to change it. So I can go from horizontal to canted. If I'm gonna wear it on my belt, I'm either gonna carry it canted like this, just makes it easier to grab, or horizontal, that's just how I like to carry. Or, now it takes a little bit of pressure, but that's good. You don't want it to be just flopping around in all directions. Vertical carry like this as well. You know, if I was in the woods, usually I'll carry vertical with a bigger fixed blade, but with my EDC fixed blades, I prefer pocket carry. But for me, it's just hard to beat, especially being that I wear these Huck lightweight fishing shorts because they're the only ones that don't bother my scars. But I mean, just look at this. Look at the Bad Stitch Goods leather sheath. I love how for the X Limited, it buries into that sheath, so I don't have much sticking out. And with the lanyard on there, it's a quick, easy, I just grab that with my pinky, and I can pull it out, use the knife, and then when I'm done, I put the spine up against the back part of the sheath. That way I know it's going in there straight, and go slow with it. You don't want to push it through the leather, that would be silly. But yeah, this, awesome. It does print a little bit when I'm sitting down, no more than most kydex do anyway. If I want, I could also clip it to the back of my pocket right here, and it works well. Another go-to spot with these shorts, they have this little side pocket right here. That's another spot that I'll wear it a lot too, because when I'm sitting down, it just sits on the side of my leg right here. That's one reason why I love these shorts. So then I can grab it easy as well there, and then spine up against the back, slowly put it in there, and you're good to go. If you didn't want to spend the extra money for the sheath, you could use that kydex. If you want to pocket carry, you could buy a 3x3 Alti clip and do the same exact thing. So when it comes to carry, this one gets an A++. I mean, just an absolute joy. That's what's awesome about this streamlined package and the streamlined nature of the kydex that comes with it, or the absolutely fantastic leather sheath from Bad Stitch Good Leather. Now, when it comes to weight, the knife and the kydex, you also got to remember I have the leather lanyard with the titanium bead, so you can subtract it a little bit, but it comes in at 4.3 ounces. The knife along with the bead is 2.33 ounces, and surprisingly enough, the leather is actually lighter than the kydex at 3.6 ounces. It's lighter than most of my folding knives. Now, Another difference, besides the full flat grind, instead of the hollow grind, you have a bolstered handle, unlike the full handle on the X Series EDC fixed blade. And they were able to keep the weight down. I'm going to pop up a video portion of the inside. It's heavily skeletonized in there. And you just check out how they have the scale material attached to the bolster, making it look like one piece. Bestech just does a phenomenal job with their OEM stuff. And let's take a look at these. You have titanium bolsters, and right now I have the natural canvas micarta scales. You got a nice little chamfer here and here, and then tons of grip. It's a good type of micarta too. You have two Torx T8 heads here. They're titanium hardware, and the backside is captured. If you didn't see that in that little video I just showed, so that's nice. It's not going to free spin on you. Everything's perfectly mated and flush, and you would think that swapping the scale materials you'd have gaps everywhere, but nice tight fitment the way they set that up, even here and underneath here. Nothing sticking up any. Very, very tight. And then you have the hidden lanyard spot in the very back. You do have to take off these scales to put your lanyard, but that's not an issue for me. It was quick and easy and painless. There's the jimping underneath that I was talking about earlier. Now it's time for some quick size comparisons. It's just a hair shorter than the SE Azula 2, and it's just a little longer than the SE Azula. Here it is next to the Griffin Co. X Series EDC Fixie, and it's the same exact size as the Griffin Co. Scout F2.5. And it's just a hair shorter than the Reef F3, and it's pretty much identical in length to the Schwartz Overland Sport. Now, we all know no nice perfect. What are my nitpicks, complaints? Now, I got to be very nitpicky here. They could have brought the plunge grind all the way back, but when it comes to my fixed blades, I don't really care about that. Another nitpicky thing, maybe have this jimping come out to about right here. So whenever when you come up, choke up on there, you got something to hold on to, and possibly make them a little bit closer, finer. It gives you a little bit better grip. But this one grips the thumb perfectly, and definitely no deal breaker, because when I'm choked back, it's perfect. So what are my final thoughts on the new Griffin X Limited? Well, between this and its bigger brother, the X Series EDC Fixie, I think it's an absolute home run. You know, if you were on the fence about the X Series EDC Fixie, but you didn't like the hollow grind, well, now they might have you covered here. It's a little smaller, but perfect size for EDC. Great pocket carry size knife. That full flat's still nice and slim, nice and slicey. I think it's a very attractive looking fixed blade. There's so many different variations to choose from. So pretty much, you know, you should be able to find what you're looking for. Now, like I said, these will probably be live while you're watching this. If you, for some reason, happen to miss the exact one you want, don't freak out. He usually has some drops at dealers as well, and when those happen, I will do my best to find those out for you and let y'all know as well. For your micarta scaled options, these will run you $240, and the carbon fiber, the 2 carbon fiber and the brass options are going to run you $270. It doesn't matter your blade finish, but the carbon fiber brass is a little bit of a upcharge there. That's understandable. Do I think it's worth the $240 that this one would cost? Absolutely. You know, I know it's not cheap. Don't get me wrong. But it's a very, very well-made fixed blade that is already ready to carry, and I absolutely love it. He has yet to produce a knife that I did not like the look of. My review of the Griffin slip joint will be coming very soon as well. That's going to wrap up today's video. If you have any questions in particular, feel free to ask me down below, and I'll do my best to get back with you. Remember, like I said, these will be linked down below in the description. Hope every one of y'all is having a fantastic day today, and remember, keep these blades sharp, smile more.